With the Duelist Cup upon us, what is the best deck to climb? Hello guys and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, we are taking a look at what I believe the best deck currently is in Yu-Gi-Oh! And that is Yubel. Now, everyone knows that like Tenpai is this all-being, all-seeing threat, but in reality, I do not believe that it is the best deck. Yes, it may be the best deck in terms of ladder if you just get in an infinite amount of games, but in reality, I do believe that Yubel is going to do better in general. And let's dive into why. Starting off, Yubel is incredibly consistent, which helps significantly, which just overall, you're more often likely to just play the game. Tenpai, yes, is consistent, but it's not as consistent and can die to individual cards. Like, for example, in Ash Blossom on a Pydra, when that's your only play, or the myriad of other things that can and likely will happen due to the opponent having like a hand trap or something along those lines, or just being able to make an unbreakable board, which happens, or FTKing, or what have you, right? And two, the consistency helps, right, as opposed to Tenpai. And two, it actually doesn't have a losing matchup into Tenpai, which, again, expecting Tenpai to be as dominant as it is in the Duelist Cup, not having a losing matchup is pretty good. Now, mostly this is due to the fact that Spirit of Yubel, Phantom of Yubel, and Nightmare Pain are incredibly difficult for Tenpai to specifically play around unless they draw really, really well or prevent you from basically playing the game, which doesn't happen often but can happen, right? And overall, this is what I believe puts Yubel at the top. It doesn't really have a losing matchup just in general. It can pretty much play into basically anything thanks to the help of Nightmare Pain and getting access to pretty much an OTK off of anything. So yeah, all in all, an insane deck. Let's quickly run through this card by card and the explanation. We're playing a 42 card list because we're playing a lot of bricks, so playing over the 40 card list tends to decrease the amount of times that we see those bricks, and we have an insane amount of consistency, so for the most part, I never really felt the issue with like bricking or anything like that. Can happen, but it's rather rare, especially with this list. Starting off with the three ofs, right? The extenders or the Yubel cards. We're playing 3 Samsara D Lotus. This is just extremely good. Perfect starter. We're also playing the Spirit of Yubel at 3. I think some people have been cutting it down to 2, but for the most part, I really enjoy seeing it. Even at multiples, it's not necessarily bad, because you could just shuffle back both in order to make a Phantom, which is, again, not bad. So for the most part, I don't really feel bad seeing this. And on top of that, if you end up seeing it with something like an opening or pretty much anything else, you're able to kind of combo off from there. We're also playing one piece of the Yubel and Terror Incarnate as well, and we are not playing the level 12 Ultimate Nightmare. Reason being, this is just a dead card and rarely comes up in this build in particular, because for the most part, we're not actually using it to like OTK our opponent. We don't really need help with that. And yeah, mostly it's just kind of preventing them from playing the game is the overall game plan. And this doesn't really help with that in any capacity. So that's pretty much it. We're also playing 3 of the Nightmare Throne to get our combos started, as well as 2 Nightmare Pain. And that is pretty much it for the Yubel. Oh, sorry. We're also playing 2 Grave Squirmer, and that's pretty much it for the Yubel cards. Grave Squirmer is really, really good, and drawing 1 is not bad, and having a second one as follow-up is, again, not bad. Next up, we are playing the Dark Beckoning Beast package. So the 2 Dark Beckoning Beast, the 1 Chaos Summoning Beast, as a way to get an additional number, or monster that we can normal summon, as well as the 2 Opening of the Spirit Gates. That's pretty much it. I'm also running the Unchained package, so the 1 Charvara and the 1 Unchained, or Escape from the Unchained. This could also technically be the Chamber. However, I don't find Chamber nearly as usable, mostly due to the fact that I think removing back row right now is very important. So being able to like pop a field spell, like for example the Tenpai field spell, or being able to deal with like a Floodgate is just way more useful in my mind than having access to an additional guy. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And then of course, the Kashtira package. Now, Kashtira is not actually standard in Yubel. I highly recommend it, especially in the current metagame, for 2 reasons. 1, Tenpai. Kashtira cards are really, really good against Tenpai, mostly because Unicorn, if they interact with you, all of a sudden rips a card out of their extra and could prevent them from basically OTKing you, which is great. And 2, they eat up hand traps. People will slam hand traps into these all the time, and to be fair, it's reasonable to do that, right? Because they generate so much advantage and can kill them because of the rest of the Kashtira stuff that exists currently. However, with that being said, it allows a lot of your other plays to continue going, and with the thing with like birth and all of that jazz, you could just put like an infinite amount of material onto the field pretty much. So yeah, just incredibly strong and altogether worthwhile. As for the rest of the cards, it's pretty simple. We're running extenders like 1-for-1 and Piri Ray, and then the rest is hand traps. We're running 3 Ash, 3 Maxi, 3 Infip, and the 2 triple tactics talents, as well as 2 called by and the 1 crossout. With the Kachtura stuff, as well as things like triple tack and the like, for the most part I don't really have a problem going second, and with just how powerful each individual card is in Yubel, it really does just push through boards pretty effectively. As for the extra deck, it's pretty it's not that tight, but there are a lot of cards that are very important in here and helped significantly. We're playing 2 Phantom of Yubel because we can only play 2. To be fair, we probably wouldn't play 3 even if we could. We're playing the 1 Chaos Angel to help clean up boards basically, but also to help push for OTKs when the opponent doesn't play into like Nightmare Pain or what have you. We're also playing 1 Typhon. It does come up. It's actually pretty good. But yeah, this is probably cuttable. We're also playing the 1 Almirage in case our Dark Beckoning Beast gets negated in some capacity, but we still have the opening so that we can potentially pitch a Spirit of Yubel and do some stuff from there. We have the 1 Unchained Soul of Rage, as well as the 1 Yama and the 1 Anguish, just so that we can play the Unchained package and really kind of go from there. It's very, very useful. We're playing a Cross Sheep as additional extension. We're playing the Dark as well, and then, of course, the SP. We're also playing Apo and Access Code Talker. Access Code and the Chaos Angel allow us to OTK, which is why we're playing them, so they're very, very useful, and overall, definitely worth it. However, we're also playing 2 cards in here that are rather interesting, which I will explain why they're in here in a second. Because it took me a while to figure out why we're playing Summon Sork. Now, Summon Sork and Muckracker are extremely good for helping you push through additional hand traps, right? Reason being, or just with like bad hands. Reason being, basically, if you're able to go into any 3 of your Fiends, right, which is pretty easy to do overall, you can go into Yama and then go into the Summon Sork here off of something like an opening or what have you, and then Summon Sork can summon any of your Fiends to the field to then summon from deck either a Samsara, a D-Lotus, or something like Spirit of Yubel, depending on what you've already used, right? Which then allows you to reborn it off of a Muckracker and a discard to then get the full Yubel line as well. So it basically just allows you to either use the Dark Beckoning Beasts to go into your Yubel cards, or allows you to play through those additional hand traps while not necessarily being negated or interacted with. Obviously, like, if they negate a Spirit of Yubel or something along those lines, it's not really going to do all that much, but for the most part, it is just a really solid extension. So yeah, it helped a ton, and would highly recommend it. Let's hop into the replays and show you how this deck performed, though. Alright, here we are going first, and we drew a fairly decent hand if this Nightmare Throne resolves. And we have the Called By to basically guarantee that it does. So they're going to go for the Nightmare Throne, and or they're going to go for the Maxi, I'm going to go for the Nightmare Throne, and then I'm also going to go for the Called By. We're going to wrap up with a Samsara D, we're going to activate its effect, and summon out the Yubel. Yubel is going to set a Nightmare Pain, and we're going to activate the Nightmare Pain, popping the Yubel, grabbing Squirmer. Here we go for the Phantom of Yubel, as well as the Terror Incarnate here off of the Nightmare Throne, and then go into Cross Sheep. Here we are going to get Nib. Cool, that doesn't do anything. So we're going to shuffle back here in order to go into the Phantom of Yubel, and then we're going to link off the Phantom of Yubel as well as the Grave Squirmer to go into the Yama and grab up Sharvara. Now, to be fair, that was the optimal time to Nib. There wasn't really a better option to Nib, so I'm not saying that they played the Nibiru poorly. It's just that it doesn't matter because Phantom of Yubel is a card that does exist. So there's that. Anyway, here we're going to summon back the Spirit of Yubel and then pop it with the Sharvara to trigger and special summon the Yubel from deck. Here we can link off into the Unchained Soul of Rage and set the Escape. And then we are also going to go into the Muckracker here and just reborn a guy. I don't know why I decided to reborn the Yubel. Realistically, this should just be Samsara D Lotus. My brain stopped here. Anyway, not really that big of a deal. We did get hand trapped twice, and we still have the Escape, Imperm, and Phantom, as well as the Rage. So not really too concerned here. My opponent's going to reveal that they are on either Exo or Mathmech, and it's Mathmech. Okay, cool. They're going to go for the Alimbertion. I'm going to promptly Imperm here, and yep. They're going to go for the circular. I'm like, yep, that's totally fine. Activate the effect. Sure, out comes this guy. Sure, activate grab equation. I'm like, that's fine. They're going to go subtraction. Sure, I'm going to go pop here. Now, this may seem strange. Why am I popping here? What am I doing? What is the plan? Well, if they have 3 monsters, 3 4s specifically, they can go for Laplation, and Laplation can send away the field. So I just don't want that to even be a consideration, because I really wanted to keep this Phantom of Yubel for a potential actual difficult to out card, or more specifically, like something that I need to negate. So yeah, this just made more sense. It was like popping the materials of, or like popping a card in Math Mech doesn't really matter, but at the very least, like, this banishes the card, so there's that. We're gonna go for the Yama here and Reborn, as well as put back the Phantom of Yubel. My opponent's going to Maxi, which will promptly be negated by the called by from the last turn. I'm gonna special summon here, they're gonna go for the Splash Mage, and I'm like, no, that's not allowed. We were going to banish, or use it as link material, go for the SP Little Knight, and banish here. We still have the Phantom as well. So, good game. Alright, so here we are going second, and this will hopefully show you the power of the Unicorn, or more specifically, Kashtira. My opponent is going to reveal that they are on Tier Limit, because it's 60 cards and they drew again. Of course it's Tier Limit. Why would it not be? Immediately I have to imperm this. This is like the only thing that I can do. They're going to go for the Sheeran here, and they pitch a pretty good card, I'm not going to lie, Tier Cash. They also hit Scream, which is also pretty good here, and so yeah, out comes this. They're going to mill 2, which aren't great, but set 2 and pass. It's not great, but it's also good. It could definitely have been better. But this is where the Unicorn shines. My opponent is going to go for the SnowiKs on the Unicorn, which is exactly what we wanted, because now we have Lotus available and Throne available to us as well, which is fantastic, which is pretty much more or less what we want. So we're going to go for the Throne here. We're going to pop the Spirit of Yubel. We're going to activate the Spirit of Yubel, to which my opponent will negate. Awesome. We're going to go for the Samsara D Lotus. My opponent is attempting to Meta Noise, which luckily we drew the Sharvara, so we could just not be set. So that's pretty nice. And then we can just go Muckracker here and Reborn our guy. We're also going to set as well. So we're going to pitch the Samsara D Lotus, and I'm actually just going to special summon the Spirit of Yubel. Theoretically, I could go for the Samsara D Lotus, but I actually think it's better just to go for the Spirit of Yubel, just in case they have an additional card in hand, or, well, more specifically, because they have Snow. They have Snow Engrave, so they could just like banish their entire field in hand and summon it, and book the guy, and that would not have been good. Anyway, here we go for the Yubel and the Terror Incarnate, as we've seen, and at this point my opponent just concedes. I literally just need to make the Phantom, and then just attack into the attack position, Rukalos, and they lose. So, fun. Alright, here we are once again going first, and yeah, this is a hand, that's for sure. We're going to start off here with the Unicorn and grab up the Birth. Then we're going to go for the Dark Beckoning Beast here off of opening. Normal summon the Dark Beckoning Beast, grab up the opening, and then normal summon again into the Chaos Summoning Beast, and out comes the Cross Sheep. Here we are going to pitch in order to reborn our Spirit of Yubel. Spirit of Yubel is going to set the Nightmare Pain, activate the Nightmare Pain, pop the Spirit of Yubel, grab up the Grave Squirmer, and special summon the regular Yubel. Here we're going to shuffle back 2 in order to go for our Phantom, which will then allow us to reborn as well. Here we can make the Yama, and then activate the effect of the Yama, grabbing up Sharvara, and now we can go for the Grave Squirmer. Now we are going to link off everything for an Apo, bring that Apo, hip hip hooray, special summon back the Yubel, and then pop the Yubel with the Sharvara. Yubel can now also special summon, because for some reason, this doesn't miss timing, but other stuff does. I don't know. Don't worry about timings here. Anyway, we're going to set the trap here as well, and pass the turn. For some reason, I could not inform you as to why, but for some reason, I still have Birth in my hand. I think I just forgot that Unicorn was here. But yeah, like I could have done more here, because I could have potentially linked off the Unicorn and then brought it back, and potentially had an additional guy on top of this. Not that it would have really changed all that much. I guess I would have had like a Yubel on my field, which could have been a little bit more useful, but for the most part, it doesn't really change all that much. Anyway, my opponent's going to imperm the Phantom of Yubel and then normal summon a Hydra, to which I will promptly negate it, and then they will go to the combat phase, activate the effect of their quick play, grab up the Chundra, and then I will just attempt to pop here. I don't know why I elect to negate here with the Apo. That doesn't do anything, but it's fine. They're just going to Synchro here again, and they Synchro into Black Rose, which misses timing. 10 out of 10. Also, I Black Rose would not have done anything. I would have just negated it. But alas, there you go. Good game. Alright, we're back with the deck, and honestly, yeah, this deck's crazy. I am not a fan of Yubel, nor Kashtira, but I cannot lie about how incredibly powerful they are or just like in general, right? The Kashtira cards are insanely powerful and need to be responded to most of the time, because if you don't, they could potentially do the full Kashtira combo and then kill you, which is not fun. So yeah, most people will just immediately answer and be like, no, stop, don't. That's not fun. And then the Yubel cards as well are just absolutely insane, and a lot of them have similar amounts of text, where it's just like, yeah, you just have to respond to this, right? If Samsara the Lotus resolves, if Spirit of Yubel is able to get the Nightmare Pain into rotation, if etc, etc, etc. So all in all, just an insane deck that has no real weakness as of right now. Like, it kind of loses to Max C, but even that's only a kind of, because you could just make Phantom and still play pretty well for the most part, and a lot of your like starters are normals, so you're not immediately playing into the Max C and all of that jazz. So there's still a lot that you can do. You could also, if you're really concerned about Max C in particular, you could also play the Silhouette Rabbit and the Azure Rune, which I'm not that big of a fan of, mostly because that just adds another brick to our hand, which we don't really want. There's a reason I'm playing 42. We have a lot of dead cards that we just do not want to see, right? This one, and I believe this one. And technically this one as well. So like, there's a lot of cards where it's just like, oh yeah, we just don't want to see these in our hand because they're just bad for us in our hand, as opposed to like drawing a hand trap or drawing an extender or a starter or something along those lines. So yeah, adding like another one to that, probably not that great. And for the most part, with the Kashtira stuff, you can also play around Max C. You know, you special a Kashtira and then they go activate the Max C, and then you go, cool, activate triple attack, lift the hand. But yeah, anyway, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy it, and that you understand now why this deck is the best deck. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.